Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are once again in Studio Camry, I guess, if you will. We are here for another episode of Pickup Lines. And what are we today? Wednesday already, July 12th, at an undisclosed location right now for what is expected to be a very special conversation. Here's something that I've been looking forward to for a very, very long time. And I'm just going to give you guys a few minutes to come on. And I would politely ask, as you guys are coming on, hi Thomas, to like this video and share it on your social media. Talia Cavazos, how are you? Yeah, we're about to get started here, but I wanted to give everybody a minute to come on and get comfortable. Miranda Vargas is on as well. So yeah, this is something that I've talked about for a while and tried to put it into existence. Hi Angie. And finally, at long last, the stars and the planets and the moons have aligned. And so, without further ado, because I don't want her waiting out in the sun any more than she has to, ladies and gentlemen, here she is, the great Monica Taylor.
Hello. Yes, I was wondering how long I was going to be out in the heat.
Don't slam the door.
Sorry.
Don't slam the door. I'm still making payments on this thing.
I'll give you a check afterwards. Hi, everybody.
Look at this. Just like old times. Just like old times. Oh my goodness. Bring it in. Bring it in. Bring it in.
Real one.
Okay, so
all right.
So the thing with Pickup Lines is
I'm nervous. I told everybody on Facebook yesterday I'm a little nervous, Ernie, because you didn't tell me, prepare me, question or whatever. I don't know what we're going to talk about, and those are the things that make me nervous. The off the cuff, because sometimes my mouth goes faster than my brain, and so I am a little worried.
Wait till you see what we bring out. Come on out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So
this is a nice studio, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Nice. I spared no expense.
Yes.
I got the good,
is there a green room?
The good. Yeah, it's right here. I got the good Scotch tape and a Bill Miller bucket in case this goes south. Well, there it is.
You still get me. Okay, I'm
there
sorry.
It is.
Okay, the first dolphin laugh of the thing.
The first dolphin laugh.
Okay, it's been a while. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm taking over your show, and it's your show. Pick up lines.
Thank you. It's my show. No, listen, I was just looking because I had to refresh my memory. And welcome to everybody coming on, by the way. I was asking if you could share the video so we can expand the audience and let as many people see what Monica Taylor is up to, because I think you and I split up, if you will, TV-wise. Was it 2015 April?
2015 April.
2015.
Yes.
Okay. So we've just passed the 8-year point on that.
It doesn't feel like that long though, and I think part of that is because you've been in our lives, right? You're our daughter Elena, my husband and I.
Yes.
Our daughter Elena, you are the godfather.
I am
to her, and so when people say, "Were we really close?" Yes, we were, and still are very close. We don't see each other as much as we'd like to. You have your life, we have our lives, busy work, children, husbands, wives, friends, all of those type of things. But we do try to find time to get together. But I can't believe it's been 8 years. It doesn't feel like that long.
No, it doesn't feel like that long. But I will tell you, and
you just made a transition.
I did make a transition.
That was a huge transition.
I'm like mid-transition right now. But we're underway here on Pickup Lines with Monica Taylor, and we're getting close to 100 people on. So thank you so much. That means a lot, because this show is growing. Last week I started with my first ever non-Zuniga guest.
Yes.
Which was Councilman Manny Pelaez, and that was a lot of fun. So thank you for the support, and if you could share the video, help us out. And
you and Tamitz, that's what I call Tammy. Tamitz,
my wife,
your wife.
Yeah.
You guys do a great job. So I was glad that I'm thankful that you asked me to do this, because it's been a while since I've done anything on air. It feels like...
Is this the first time we've been on camera together, like on a live setting?
Since then? I'm trying to think. We've emceed events, and we are about to MC an event in August. We'll talk about that too. We for UTSA.
Yes.
And then, but just talking about it, I think this is probably it. Besides emceeing in front of people live, this is it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, I had the pleasure of working with some amazing women over the years at the TV station.
A lot of TV wives.
You were by far the one that we were together, what, 7 years?
Yes, a little over.
So by far the longest, stretch. But I will tell you, and again, what is it? Kimberly, Monica, then it was Jessica, then it was Brianna, then it was Mady and Ashley. all of them have been fantastic. But I will tell you, if I'm just being honest, consistently, and it's been 8 years now, since 2015, people ask me on a regular basis how you're doing. Now, the reality is we live on different sides of town, and you have your daughter and I have 3 teenagers, and et cetera, et cetera. So we don't get together as often as we would like. But we've texted, and a lot of people, I'm going to turn the mic over to you.
Okay.
A lot of people want to know, what are you up to right now, and how are you doing? What have you been up to?
Well, as you can see, I'm doing really well. I think the transition of being a mom, right? Because at the time I left, Elena wasn't even a year old yet. And I went back into the public relations life and went to CPS Energy first. That's where I was for a little over 3.5 years. And then made a transition to starting a PR area at the CE Group. And then one of the organizations I got to work with while I was there was UT Health San Antonio.
Right.
And I worked on a project for them or whatever, got to meet and had the opportunity to come over here. And now I've been here. I just, believe it or not, on Monday celebrated my 4-year anniversary here. Can you imagine 4 years? And it's been great. But also, it was history when we went through COVID. Can you imagine? UTL San Antonio was the organization that we were putting our physicians out there, infectious disease, all the information for the media. We gave out the first vaccine outside of the military.
I remember.
You know, all of those things for San Antonio. And so it's just been a tremendous journey, and I love it. I actually do public and media relations here, and so I put all the information out, you know, for the general public and the public to understand what we do. But we're complicated. We've got a lot of stuff, and I'm still learning a lot, and I've been here 4 years. So, but that's what I've been up to. And I've been up to being a mom. That changes you. Yeah. I remember when I first joined Ernie on the show, he had his children, right? They were little. And I never understood it. And now I understand why cliches become cliches, because you can't understand anything until you're there.
Right.
When you go through it, then you know why the parents do the things they do and why they make decisions that they do and all of that. And you can only do your very best. But you're hard on yourself because you want all the things to go right and everything to go the way you hope it will, but it doesn't always go that direction.
Yeah, no kidding. So
the journey is the journey.
Unbelievable. Yeah, so this is Pickup Lines here with Monica Taylor. She's nice enough to join me here for a little while.
This is great.
As we continue. And so I think I've told you this before. I don't know that I've said it publicly, but I will go on record as saying this.
Okay.
When you left in 2015 and you had Elena and everything, and then you got going with that and everything, I kept thinking in the subsequent years, I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Monica Taylor came back to TV. Because you were so good at it. And people may not realize you had the PR background before, so it's not like you came from a TV background and then transitioned to the morning show. You were doing PR, work for the Spurs and everything, and then you slid right in and hit the ground running. But my question is, those early years after Elena was born, did that ever materialize, or did you miss it? And then did you ever come close to coming back?
I still miss it. There are so many parts of it. People ask me, that's a question I get asked a lot, actually. Do you miss it? Of course I miss it. There's something about being in front of the camera, delivering news, connecting with the community in a way that you can't otherwise. Right. And then toward the end of our time, or at least end of my time there, we started doing social media. So you got these instant results from fans and viewers and everybody that would tell you they liked your hair, they didn't like your hair, they loved your outfit, they didn't love your outfit, did you gain weight, did you do, like all of the things that come with it. But I appreciated all of that because I know they were paying attention.
Right.
And the other thing I tell people is, I don't know, it's hard to recreate things. I've always been a person, like when I worked for the San Antonio Spurs, I had that privilege of working there at a time that they were winning all the championships, right? 3, 5, and 7.
Yeah.
And then I transitioned into television. Well, that just happened naturally, or however you want to say, because I became a spokesperson for them, right? And I would come on the show. As a matter of fact, you were at Fox News First when Kimberly was there, and be able to do all that. So it just seemed like a natural progression. So for me, once I left, I was happy to help the other side of things again on the PR and media relations, where I could use all the knowledge I had to help others get better at speaking to the media and doing those type of things and connecting to the community in that way. Do I miss it? Absolutely. But I'm glad I don't get up at 2 a.m. anymore.
Oh gosh, yes.
You know, because it's a tough shift. And the older I get, the tougher I think it would be to do that shift. I don't know how you did it that long, but you also were able to take naps. I had to go to bed early and sleep through the night. You were the nap taker. So you somehow split shift the way you did things. I remember that was one of the things you did.
I mean, as I got older, excuse me, I'm in my, late 40s, but as I got older and the kids, when you have newborns at home, I mean, that's a whole different, trying to get up, tiptoe out of the house at 2:30 in the morning so you don't wake up the baby, and then you wake up the baby and Tammy has to get up, and then I'm like, I gotta go, bye, sorry.
Right, because it was live. You had to be there.
Yeah,
you couldn't
But for sure, I found that the schedule, believe it or not, worked okay for having kids at home, because there was a time when we were done at 9 a.m.
True. That's true.
With the show. Mm-hmm. Now, then we added midday later, and then so we went on from 11 to 12, and that changed the dynamic of the day a little bit. But so there were some advantages. Were you tired? I would tell people I was always tired. Some days I was just more tired than others.
That's true. Okay, that's true.
Always tired.
And I will tell you this, I still can eat anything at any time of the day. So, but you know how we would have people come on the show to cook or something like that? We'd eat salmon at 7 a.m. or whatever.
Steak.
I can still do that today. And I still am a morning person. So that didn't change. I think if I were to do anything television, I love the mornings because I have the most energy in the morning. If you see me at the end of a day, I have to really gear myself up to be creative and all this stuff. I have the most energy at the start of the day. So I loved waking everybody up and bringing all of that to the, plus our show had news.
Right.
And fun stuff too. And cooking segments. We did all kinds of different things. So I felt like it was a good variety of things that we got to do because we did a 4-hour show. People always ask also, we never went national. We were local for 4 hours from 5 to 9. Yeah. And at that time we stood a lot, and I always had to wear higher heels because Ernie was a little taller, and I did that for 4 hours. I'm going to tell you, I don't know if I could do that. The stamina for the show now would be a completely different thing.
Well, I can tell you the girls wear sneakers now. Because that changed in the pandemic when we had to be separated, and we were sitting in some cases, or if we stood, we realized we weren't going to move around a lot. So, and you weren't going to see our feet.
Right.
So we just put on. I invested in some decent.
tennis I would have loved that. I would have loved that. That would have been a lot better. But I will say, I mean, I'm always going to be a morning person. I still wake up early. I still get a ton of stuff done in the day. And I'm still, as people would say, I'm the puppy. I'm going all day long. And then by the time I hit the couch and then at night, I'm like,
so late night with Monica Taylor is not going to happen, probably.
No, I just don't have that side of it. Do you still find yourself more a morning person because you've been doing it so long, or are you still the night person? Because you were generally night still.
Well, I did sports. I did sports for 9 years, and that's going to, get off the air at 10:30, 11, go have dinner after that, or go out, a bit before we had kids, obviously.
Right.
Go to bed at 3 a.m., 2 a.m., get up at 10. That was a completely reversal of anything we did with the morning show. But that's tricky. It took me about a week. People ask me about sleep. It took me about a week to break the cycle of automatically getting up at 2:30, 3:30 in the morning.
Sure.
I had one time where I got up at 4 and I looked at the clock because there's a clock right in front of
my line of sight. And your inside's like...
And I was like, oh, I'm late for work. And then I realized, oh, wait, I don't work there anymore. So, but yeah, so now sleep is fine. And one thing that Tammy and I have talked a lot about is the fact that how the dynamic, and I think I knew it at the time, I just didn't realize how much of an effect it had, that the house, the dynamic of the house revolved around my schedule.
Well, that would make sense.
In other words, we're eating dinner at this time. Yes. We're going to do this, and you're going to take showers at this time, because Dad's got to go to bed.
Right.
Dad's got to go to bed. And Dad's, of course, not at home in the mornings, right? But I'm at home in the afternoons. Or like Friday, for example. You want to go out on a Friday night? Sure. But you're so tired because you've been up since 2:30 in the morning.
You're the lunch person on a Friday. You want to go to the lunch happy hour and be done because you're ready to go to sleep.
Not the club.
And I would always tell, that's true.
Yeah.
But people used to say that too. The weekends, if you wanted me to go out, I'd have to know way in advance, number one. You couldn't call me at 6 spontaneously to go out. 6 p.m. is what I'm talking about, because I would have already eaten, right? So you had to have called me early, and then I have to gear up to go out, and really I want to meet you at like 4:30 or 5 to eat because I'm starving, but I'm hungry at that time now. I mean, just so you know.
Where does it go? I don't know where it goes. It's an optical illusion.
No, I like to eat. That's the one thing I am.
Now, we talked about this over the years. I had a strict no coffee rule with Monica Taylor.
Yeah, that's true. Because I would be like,
she was like that without coffee, without caffeine.
This is it, yeah.
So do you partake sometimes?
Yes, because I do love it. I love the smell of it. I love the taste of it. And I like the things that are kind of sweet, like those frosty, beverages that are blended up. So yes, I do partake, but I still, if I drink any caffeine after 10 a.m., I will not sleep that night.
What?
So I have to be very careful. Unlike my husband that drinks the espresso shot at the end of dinner and goes right to sleep. I cannot do that. Caffeine affects me. I guess it's a good thing because it does what it's supposed to at the time, but sometimes I drink a little too much, and then I'm like, because I'm like right now, I told her I was nervous to come on, so I've already got that adrenaline flowing.
This isn't 60 minutes. So what are you?
Well, it's 30 minutes of time. No, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the old school, the show on CBS. Yes. Okay, but
so let's put a plug in. Your favorite 1 or 2 coffee places to go to.
Oh, I am such a Summer Moon lover. If you have the opportunity to go to Summer Moon, and my favorite drink is their Autumn Moon blended with an extra shot of espresso in it. It is delicious. I wish I could have brought it for you. I'm going to have to bring you one. So anyways, they have several locations around town. There's one by the YMCA close to St. Mary's downtown right there. Okay. There's a coffee shop attached there. There's one off of 281. There's one over off of I-10. Anyways, if you haven't been there, their coffees are really good. Like all of their coffee is good. It's really good. So I'll plug them because I frequent them the most.
Monica Taylor approved.
Yes, yes.
So, how much does your daughter Elena know about your time on TV, or do you pull out the clips, the projector?
Funny.
You pull out the projector with the giant,
the VHS?
The VHS tape.
Yes.
Does that ever come up?
Well, actually, I've tried to tell her. I hope she's watching right now. Hi, Elena.
Hello.
Hi. I try to tell her about it. And every time I go to say, hey, let me show you something that I've kept on the DVR. We still have it, a DVR. We have it. She's like, nah. She just doesn't see me that way because even though she was on the show with you, the picture of you holding her and she fell asleep when when I was still on maternity leave. But I look back, she doesn't really know any of that, and she's always like, oh Mom, I'm gonna be an influencer, look at me. Look, and I'm like, where do you get that from? That's just a part of the culture of children today. She's gonna be 9 in September, but she's like, that's not my vibe, and she does her little thing, and I'm like, what happened to our little girl? She's growing up. But you say this is a stage, right, of life that they go through, just all children go through.
I mean, I've got 2 daughters at home, but the social media thing. I mean,
she doesn't have social media. She doesn't have her own
social
phone.
media, but the influencer thing, like I'm going to be an influencer,
they see it.
They see it, but I will say
we also have our phones. We have our phones. We're looking at social,
and the kids are so creative now with what they come up with memes and GIFs or GIFs and little movies and stuff that my son can make on his phone and like that. It is pretty remarkable. But,
technology is here to stay. It's just we're very diligent about giving her time limits on it because I do believe they still need to read books. They still need to go outside. They still need to find things to do. I am old school that way. I do believe your brain, it's important for your children to do the things that still connect their brain outside of anything that's technological and outside of technology too.
Yeah. No, I know it's tough. So you mentioned a little while ago. By the way, this is Pickup Lines. Monica Taylor, my guest, and we are thrilled, and a lot of people.
Feels good in your car too.
Thank you.
It's just like the studio. Remember when it was super cold?
The studio was like 68 degrees.
Always
because of all the lights and everything.
And so if you wore short sleeves or whatever, you were cold. I mean,
but you'd be like,
but you couldn't do that. You couldn't show that on TV. There's so many behind the scenes. I think that's what people ask me the most about too, when they talk about us being together. Was behind the scenes the same as in front of the camera? This was behind the scenes. This was what it was. We had conversations about everything. The other thing is Ernie and I did get upset with each other. We were like TV husband wife or brother sister, whatever you want to call it, and we would hash it out in a booth, right? We called it a booth. We would go in and actually record some audio in it before the show. And that was our place, like that we tried to go and do it so we wouldn't have to take it on air. But now and again, get fussy on air, and it just happened. But that's because we spent so much time together. Do you know he saw me at like 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, at the time that you're worst and your best?
Well, listen, I'll tell you this. You're right about all of that, and the same is reversed for me. And there's video of this somewhere. You have to understand, not only did we see each other, you know, in the overnight hours 5 days a week, but we were literally in each other's personal space.
Oh, yeah.
Because when we stood, you watched, if you were to watch the news now, there's separation.
So much space.
There was a box,
yes,
you know that, of not scotch tape, like masking tape or duct tape on the floor of the studio, and the box could not have been any bigger than the size of a standard sheet of paper. And guess what? All 4 of our feet had to be inside the box.
Yes.
So we were literally standing like shoulder to shoulder doing, like we would touch.
Yeah,
like,
no, we did. Yeah.
And to do the news, and the thing that I think finally changed that was when you would say something and I'd be like, I couldn't, like physically I couldn't turn
and have a conversation. I know.
And so I'd be like,
and then we finally said, look.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I wouldn't change one thing, even wearing heels, going back to what I said. I wouldn't change one thing about our time together. And I'll say, and this is the part that makes me sensitive, because I loved what we did. I loved being next to you every day. I loved just being us and the things that, you know, we laughed and we cried and we had moments and we connected to things and we did talk. And so being close wasn't a bad thing. Now, we couldn't have the conversation the way we wanted to, you know, because we were so physically close, but we were always going to be close. It never bothered me to be that close to you because we were close.
Right. Somebody, Jonine, my friend, you know, I think you know Jonine Serna. Yeah, she says we need a talk show. So if there's a studio or a production company out there that would like to... an
agent that wants to take us on.
But here's the thing. I mean, things got real a lot of times, too, because... You know, I still tell people to this day, like, I think you and I went on like a protein diet one time, 1 year.
I don't want to even tell you all the stuff after. It was not good.
No, but that was the thing. Like, we knew each other's, like, everything.
Yeah.
And obviously I went through weight gains and losses.
Me too.
We did. But then people would notice, and we talked about, you know, parenting.
Yes.
And stuff that you didn't see on the air.
Relationships. Friendships. We talked about, I mean, we did. And that's the thing. If you want to know what I miss most, that was it. Because we were in each other's business all the time, but in a good way.
In a good way.
And you're right. We saw our families evolve. We went through everything that you wouldn't even expect. Because we truly loved each other, and I mean that in a like, and we still do, but I'm just saying we cared about what happened to the other person in their life, and we still feel that way. You were there for Elena's first communion just a few months ago. You make the big you come to her birthdays, you do the things even though we don't see each other all the time. It's just one of those, it's just a beautiful thing, because that journey, you can never change it, nor would I want to go back and try to recreate it that way. I would do it differently now. We're different anyways.
It would be different.
Because we're older, now. There are things that have changed about us. Man, I just, it takes me a second, because I just feel like, pinch me. It's like surreal that I'm here and we're talking about all of that time. But I enjoyed every moment of that, and especially because we had the opportunity to know each other so well, and that doesn't change. Does that make sense? The distance or the time away and not seeing each other every day doesn't change that.
We have a few more minutes here with Monica Taylor.
My goodness, it's already going by fast.
I know. I can't keep her. I promised her. But here's the thing. I mean, you go back to that time, and I vividly remember, you know, it was 2 years into the show, and Kimberly Crawford had decided she was going to not stay. Obviously, she's back now. And the question became, who's going to be your co-anchor? Who's going to take that spot? Mm-hmm. We had already known each other from when you worked at the Spurs.
Correct.
And I remember at the time when your name was mentioned, and you came in and we did a run through together. Mm-hmm. And I just remember thinking at the time, my goodness, like, I knew you, but I had never really seen you in a live setting like that. But the fact that obviously you had impressed enough, that you could come in from the Spurs PR side.
Right. I was unconventional. By the way, I was an unconventional
choice. Though. That's what made it so great.
I was an unconventional choice. I mean, I wasn't the person that read the prompter every day. I had to, that was one of the things that they said to me. It's okay. That is something that you can learn. You know what I mean? We can teach you that part.
Right.
It's the other part. We want you to bring personality. We need you to be able to fill this time up. At the time, it was 2.5-hour show. Remember, it grew and grew.
Right.
And so it was one of those things. And do you get along with Ernie? And can you do that? Funny prompter. Okay, so sitting there, we're looking at prompters. If you've ever seen a prompter, everything is in caps.
Correct.
All caps,
Correct.
right?
All caps.
And so I was, going through the show. We were trying to do the story about this island. We're going through it. And embarrassing moment, right? But the words are coming up. I'm looking at the video because sometimes that helps you when you're looking at a word coming up that you might not know, right?
Sure.
And so I looked at it and I'm like, okay, it looks like an island. I'm trying to look at it. And I go, and from the island of Orange Gutan. Do you remember that?
Of course I remember that.
Yes. And it was supposed to be orangutan, right?
Like the monkey.
Like the monkey. And I was so embarrassed. But the one thing is, when we came back from the break, I was still laughing about it because that was the one thing. When it's live, you just go with it and you deal with it. And you laugh at yourself. How many times did we laugh at ourselves for some of the things we said, how we did certain things, or how things didn't go well, or things that did go well? I mean, that was the beauty of it being live, and I still love the live format for that reason.
Yes.
That's why when we MC events like we will in August, that's the reason I love that.
Well, so around the same time that happened to you, I didn't, rap music, I didn't know a lot about it at the time. This was like 15 years ago. But on Tuesdays, we would have new releases, new albums coming out. And I saw on the prompter, it said Florida. So I was like, oh, yeah, Florida's got a new album out this week.
Florida.
Can't listen, and people started giggling, and I'm like, yeah, Florida, check out his new album out today at your Camelot music store, or Sam Goody, whatever. And then people are like, it's Florida, you idiot. It's like, oh, gosh.
Oh, and the things they tell you in your ear.
Yes,
like you're trying to speak, and then the things that they, like a producer in your ear kind of thing. It's like, so funny.
Ernie, it's Florida. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I know. So, besides all of that, what do you think is the best thing that you took from your career in television that you would, tell somebody now? Is there one thing, or is there just so many moments and everything defines it for you?
Well, it's just, to me, like, I did sports for so many years, and I thought that was, like, I was living a dream, and that was amazing, talking to Tim Duncan and David Robinson and all these, and that was Spurs games and Cowboys games and all that. But what I really found when we did the morning show was the uniqueness of every day being different, and guests coming in to the studio, you never knew who was going to come, and it could be a Spurs player one day, it could be the mayor, could be a doctor, could be an average person,
an actor, or somebody that we
talked to plenty of A-list stars, via satellite, during those years, and so that the kind of that the uniqueness of each day, and the unexpected nature of that, and the spontaneity and everything. And to the management's credit at the time, they really let us get away with a lot.
They didn't change a lot about us. You hear about all these horror stories of like stations changing and saying you can't say this, can't say that. I say we took it really close to the edge and just never fell over. A lot of times.
I think we pushed the envelope until they would slap us on the wrist occasionally, and then we go back and then we keep pushing. But
we still do that today. We still do that today. That's not going to. That doesn't change. Yeah. That doesn't change at all.
We have a couple of more minutes here.
Any questions?
So somebody's asking, what high school did you go to?
Oh, I went to Judson High School. I'm a Rocket.
Rocket Pride.
Yeah, Rocket Pride.
So, and what's going to happen here, because we're going to have to stop here in a few minutes, but we'll go back and look at all the comments, because obviously we couldn't see everything, and we'll respond to as much as we can. You talked about we're going to MC an event for UTSA
next
in
late August. Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm excited about that. You actually did that event last year. I wasn't able to, so tell me a little bit about it, because I'm doing it with you this year.
So it's for the Alumni Association, and it's right before football season, which is really cool. So it's in late August. I think it's at La Cantera if you want to go. But obviously, coming off the excitement of what the football team has done the last 2 years, it's a great event. And I did not attend. You went to UTSA.
Yes.
I did not attend UTSA. I live near
You're
UTSA.
You're
but the people there have always been so great to me. I would love to have Coach Jeff Trailer in this seat one day.
That'll be cool.
He's always been good to me.
And energy. He has great energy.
And he's
phenomenal.
Contagious, infectious energy.
Yes.
And he just wins. He just wins football games. So I'm excited to do that. Going to hopefully raise some money for the
Alumni
Association and spread some good football cheer.
Even though you didn't go there, they've definitely brought you in, hugged you just like
Everyone's
you have been a part of that. So I'm excited to MC. So that we'll be doing that next month together. So there's always things on the, you never know what we're going to be up to.
So people are asking for a part 2. Maybe at some point we'll have a part 2. But as we wind down here, our last couple of minutes together, do you have anything else you want to put out in the universe or say?
No, I think the biggest thing is, first of all, thank you for inviting me to do this, and I mean that. And thank you to everyone that viewed this or logged in to your Facebook account, to Facebook Live and watching this. And I hope that we didn't go down too many memories that doesn't relate to things. Sometimes I go, okay, do they relate to it? Do they enjoy it or whatever? So I hope that it's good to find out some things that maybe you didn't know about us. And it has been 8 years. So maybe you forgot to or never thought about some of the things that, we've experienced during that time.
The thing that's unique to San Antonio, and this, is that people develop a loyalty toward their newscasters, their TV personalities, and whoever your favorite one is. And so I know just in some of the comments I've seen, you can see it yourself. 8 years later, and you're still getting. We had almost 200 people on here, and hopefully more will watch when we're done. But I can't tell you how happy I wish we could have done this a lot sooner. And it sounds like there's enough demand for a part 2. So
I wish we could go on forever. No. But the thing is, this is how it is for us. We get into a conversation, it could go on forever. And sometimes I call Ernie and I go, Ernie, this is not the conversation that we get to talk. This is my 5-minute conversation with you, and it still goes 15. So it's always that way.
Yeah. So
I can't read the comments.
No, we'll go back later.
I gotta adjust my eyes. I've gotten older.
I have readers. Yeah. So we're talking about our readers that are on my nightstand right now. So
I've got them everywhere.
I should have brought a monocle or something so I can see. But
look, okay. So I'll show everybody. I don't know how I'd read a prompter now if I went back on television. Look at that.
Look at that.
There you go. Look. Okay. Yes, part 2. See, I can read now.
Oh, wow.
I love it.
Do I look any better with your readers on than I?
Yes, actually, I can see all the detail better.
Goodness. Well, listen, I know you got to run. Thank you. Part 2, hopefully, in the future. But all my best to your lovely family.
Yes, and you too.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thanks to everybody for watching. Appreciate it. Pickup lines on a Wednesday.
Pickup lines. Wednesday, my favorite day of the week, by the way.
Yes.
Little known fact. Okay.
All right, take care.
See you later. Bye.
We'll see you. Bye, guys.